All right, you guys, we're going to continue our discussion on solving quadratic equations using the square root method. Let's take a look at these examples. So it says to solve the following equations. So for A, we have x squared equals negative 81. So just like before, we're going to make sure that our squared quantity is isolated. It is. So we're going to take the square root of both sides. So we have x equals, all right, the square root of negative 81. So we know, because we've now studied complex numbers, that this is not a real number, but we can break this down. So the negative 1 will become I, and we have plus or minus the square root of 81 is 9i. Okay, and we have two answers there. We have negative I, negative 9i, and positive 9i. Okay, so be careful because your answers could be complex now. Okay, all right, let's look at B. So for B, we have 3x squared equals 48. Okay, the squared quantity needs to be isolated, so I'm going to divide both sides by 3 first. So that's going to give me x squared equals 16. Now that the squared quantity is isolated, now I'm going to take the square root of both sides. So that's going to give me x equals plus or minus the square root of 16 is 4. So once again, I have two answers, x equals negative 4 and x equals positive 4. Cool. All right, now let's take a look at an application problem. All right, so this problem says the area of a circle is 305 centimeters squared. Find the radius using the square root method. So it says to use 3.1416 as an approximation for pi and round your final answer to the nearest whole number. Okay, so the first thing that we have to know is how to find the area of a circle, because then they tell us that it's 305 centimeters squared. Well, the area of a circle, okay, can be found as pi r squared. Okay, so our formula is A equals pi r squared. And they told us that the area is 305 centimeters. Okay, so if we're going to use the square root method to solve this, it means that the squared quantity needs to be isolated. So I'm going to divide both sides by pi. So that's going to give me 305 divided by pi equals r squared. And to cancel out the squared power, we're going to take the square root of both sides. And don't forget your plus minus symbol. Okay, so we're going to have r equals plus or minus the square root of 305 divided by pi. Okay, and when we plug that into the calculator, we get positive 9.85. Okay, now since they want us to find the radius, okay, this is a measurement. All right, our radius can't be negative, so the only answer we're going to keep is the positive answer, 9.85. Okay, and then they told us to round this number to the nearest whole number. Okay, so 9.85 rounds to 10. Cool. That's our answer. I hope this helps.